I think if this tells us anything, is that gotcha games should take notes. Like, if they were capable of coming into our reality and messing with us, they would be like, yeah, you're going to be doing this. If you don't do your dailies for your, like, Honkai Star Rail or, Genshin Impact, you're going to be forced to run absolute miles to not die from, like, a colossal centipede or something. Because solo leveling is legitimately the embodiment of that. Like, you miss your dailies, you're going to absolutely pay. Honestly, an amazing episode. Like, this episode of solo leveling is even better than episode 1 and episode 2, because now we finally get into what solo leveling is actually about. It is about the world of just this world of solo leveling for our main character becoming a game to him. Like, he has a stat window, he's able to upgrade his stats, like he even shows in this episode, like strength stat, and I'll talk more about that because it's pretty funny. But, like, the entire world is just a game now to him. Like, it's clearly his only life, but he now can continuously get stronger and stronger, which is a nice little addition, because everything that was established in the previous episodes with the world building, like the first episode focus to episode 2, is that when a hunter has an awakening, their stats are static. They can't get stronger. The only thing that can really upgrade is actually their items, unless they have a second awakening. And we get a reveal that that is super rare. It's not something that happens, but the only way our main character would have been able to survive that dungeon from episode 1 and episode 2 would have been to have a second awakening. But clearly, he was unaware of his second awakening, and, they thought that he didn't have one, and it was just a lucky chance that he survived. So, having our main character's world turn into like a game to where he can now upgrade stats, it shows he's able to go beyond the limits of like a normal hunter. He's able to continuously get stronger and continuously go up the rankings to where he could probably even challenge S-class hunters within this verse. It's pretty interesting, honestly. Now, fundamentally, getting into the actual, like, I guess, main essence of what soul leveling is as a story, it is a power fantasy. And I think that this very interaction here is a good example of that. That, anyone that enjoys a good grinding session within a game, seeing your stat sheet going higher and higher, getting stronger and stronger, like if you're fighting a boss and let's say this boss absolutely just annihilates you, just rips you apart. And you're like, you know what? Okay, then. Instead of like forcing yourself up against it like a brick wall, you decide to go kill lower level mobs and you increase your strength by another 40 points or something. You come back to the boss and you just one tap the boss and you're like, yeah, that's what you get. Anyone that enjoys that type of like combat of just getting stronger, the feel of getting stronger, is absolutely just going to enjoy this episode of soul leveling, because it really does feel like that. It's like a guy that, just starts off at level 1 or soul level 1 in a Dark Souls series and just gets stronger and stronger. Now, besides all of that, though, let's actually talk about what this episode sets up in terms of story. So besides the world just becoming a game, there's more to it than just that. Like, our character is able to open up a random loot box, aka like a gotcha system, and it can give him random items, which he talks about how he got like bandages and stuff, and then one item that came out was this key. And this key that he got allows him to go into an instanced dungeon. And anyone that knows about instance dungeons from like RPGs and stuff know that instance dungeons are usually just like by yourself. You go in by yourself, it's static, nobody else can kind of intervene because it's for a certain party. And since our character is by himself, he's the only one that can really participate in this dungeon. He clearly has a very special privilege that not many hunters honestly have, because from what we know of the world of getting into like a dungeon is a gate opens up and you got to go into the gate, and then you got to clear it before the dungeon has a dungeon break, and then the world can potentially die thanks to it. So him being able to open up these gates and stuff, it's like, is this possible for other people? Has other people been doing this within the story of soul leveling? Is he the only one that is this powerful or has these abilities? There's so many questions, honestly, that come to mind with episode 3 of soul leveling, and I like that because it's like one of the strongest things about the series is not just the power fantasy, but the world, because you're constantly wondering what's going on out there. What is the absolute limit? Why is a system like this? Who's giving him this power, really? What were those statues that were there to, challenge our MC? like I said, just so many questions, so many mysteries, and I think that's fundamentally what's really good with a story, to keep you on your toes and make you always wondering what's going to happen next. And that's exactly what happens. And I feel like a lot of people that, watch this episode of Soul Leveling is probably going to legitimately be very, very upset with the conclusion, because the ending of the episode basically just ends right here where he's challenging this wolf, and we cut to the credit sequence. And it's just like, really? You're gonna end the episode right here? It sucks, honestly. Like, thankfully, I am a novel reader, and I have read the webcomic. I could not imagine being an anime only watching this, and then that was my cliffhanger. I know for a fact I'd be raging, and I would probably instantly go out of my way to read the original source. I know I would. That's exactly what I would do, thanks to just the conclusion of this episode. But let's back up for a second and let's talk about a few things. So our main character has daily quests, which I briefly mentioned at the beginning of my video here, that he can do. And these strength trainings that he does, he can get like a lot stronger, where he can allocate points into different stats, like strength, agility, luck, whatever. And clearly right now he's using strength as a dump stat. He's just dumping all of his points into strength to just get stronger. And you kind of see how much he's grown stronger when he holds like an apple and he just crushes it with his hand like it's nothing. It's just like it's like a balloon to him, so to speak. And it shows that, yes, his physical, limits are getting higher and higher, and he's able to do things that he normally was not able to do. And it makes you wonder, if he takes these daily quests, he continues to put points into different stats, is there really a limit? Because we got to think about this. When it comes to RPGs, there always is a limit to a stat. Like, strength stat usually could be 99, the vitality stat could be 99, etc. Like, the stat limit usually can be 99. Some games can go up to 999, some games only go up to 50. It really depends, and if you're D&D, technically 20 could be really the limit. So it's just like, when you think about all these different stats, what really is his limit? How far can he go until he hits a brick wall and there's just nothing else that he actually can do? Which kind of gives more fuel to that feeling of a power fantasy. How far can his strength actually get? So, yeah, I don't know. I think episode 3 is a good way to kind of start the show, and it really kind of showcases what this series is actually going to be about from this point onward. Our character getting stronger and stronger. Now, in terms of art and animation, it was a very simpler episode. Like, there was a few action sequences, like our MC here running through the desert from a giant centipede trying to eat him. But, I mean, overall, it was a very simple and laid-back episode in comparison to, like, episode 2 that had a lot of movement and animation. And I think that's fine, because I think the main focus, the core focus of the episode was just kind of setting the foundations for our main character's, overall strength training. But that's honestly about it. It's a good episode, and that's all I really want to say right now. I like Soul Leveling. I think that the anime now at this current point, it is starting to go beyond like the I guess the chains that the webcomic had. Like, for instance, it's becoming better. It's a better version than what the webcomic is, because now we have movement, art, animation, and just like great voice acting. I'm glad to see that, because it's not often you see a anime adaptation able to go beyond its like webcomic or manga form. So seeing that, it's good news for Soul Leveling fans. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed my content, please subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, do leave a like as well. And with that, Chibi out.